What's up, guys? We're back, and today I'm going to be going over the Western region of the March Madness tournament. Have a little bracket breakdown. As usual, let's just get straight into it. Got Kansas versus Howard. I mean, obviously, I don't see ones or twos. They're not getting upset. Maybe UNC Asheville could put something together, but I doubt it. So I would bank on Kansas and UCLA both making it to the second round. Um, then, Arkansas, Illinois, another 8-9. They're pretty unpredictable. I'm rooting for Arkansas, or I'm pushing more Arkansas than Illinois. Their guard play, like what you got to have in March that will win you games, is great guard play. And Arkansas has amazing guard play. They have like two or three top 100 prospects, like 5-star prospects this year. Nick Smith Jr., Anthony Black, and Jordan Walsh. Obviously, Jordan Walsh isn't as good as the other two. Nick Smith Jr. was injured most of the season, so that is probably why their record is a little more lackluster. Anthony Black still very good. Nick Smith Jr. is still very good. He's coming back from his injury and he's been back for a little while to where it shouldn't really affect him. So I would probably bank on Arkansas winning this one. Then 12-5. I feel like this is what everyone's picking as a 12 over 5 is VCU over St. Mary's. Again, I feel like people are underrating St. Mary's. Everyone was doing this exact same thing last year. And I'd say this year's St. Mary's team is probably even better. They have an actual kind of go-to guy in Aiden Mahaney. I mean, he's not like their number one option, but he is someone that can definitely score for them, and that they do rely on. He's a good freshman, has good potential. They also have Logan Johnson, very good defensive point guard. While VCU also has a play style where they're going to be rough with you and they're going to play really good defense. And they got Adrian Baldwin Jr. on top of that, to where he's gonna show out. So I do understand why people are picking VCU over St. Mary's. Me personally, I'm kind of up in the air about it. I feel like it's really either way. I feel like I'm gonna go with VCU just in like this kind of simulation, just to go with it. Um, then we got UConn Iona. 13 seed Iona, definitely probably the best 13 seed, other than maybe Kent State, because they got Rick Pitino as a coach. And whenever, like, coaching is also one of the things that matters the most, is just having a great coach, and Iona definitely has that in Rick Pitino. He can definitely outcoach Dan Hurley, but UConn just having their firepower, and they had a great start to a season, then they kind of slowed down, but they rebounded and they've been playing very well, very very well. They barely lost to Marquette in the Big East tournament. Um, and I feel like most people are picking them to either come out of this region or go far. I do agree with them, like at least making it to the Sweet 16, I would say. But Iona could potentially upset them. Then we got TCU versus the winner of ASU and Nevada. This game's tonight. Can't wait. Should be a solid game. Against TCU, though, I feel like TCU probably has a better chance of winning than. Actually, I don't fully know, because Iowa State played better than TCU recently. But TCU also beat Kansas State, so they've actually both been playing pretty similar. TCU is coming off a win against Kansas State in the Big 12 conference tournament. They have a great player in Mike Miles. They have their only like spot that's kind of weak is the center. They have Xavier Cork, I think. He's solid, but um, that their guard play is really good. Emmanuel Miller, Damian Baugh, Mike Miles. They have good guys, and I think they could probably beat either one of these teams. It's just, if you don't have Pitt beating Iowa State, I would probably go with an ASU or Nevada, just because, as I mentioned last time, there is a statistic about how, out of the 10 out of the 11 last tournaments, the first four team has always made it to the second round. Happened last year with Notre Dame over Alabama. Happened the year before with UCLA making it to the Final Four. So if you don't have Pitt winning, I would go for an ASU or Nevada win. If you do have Pitt winning, then I would stick to TCU, because they are probably the safer pick. But I would go with ASU Nevada if you don't have Pitt winning. Then we got Gonzaga Grand Canyon. Sucks to see, because I do like this Grand Canyon team. They have a very good just group of guys. They aren't that great of a team, and Gonzaga is probably like the best 3 seed. So it's pretty It's pretty tough. I mean, I feel like Gonzaga is kind of a guarantee to the next round because of that. But you never fully know. I mean, they could have a crazy upset. But I would go with Gonzaga as a safe pick. And yeah, Northwestern, Boise State. Again, this is kind of a toss-up. I really wish Northwestern and Texas A&M swapped, because that way, I mean, yeah, it would be more predictable. Because I feel like Texas A&M would easily beat Boise State, and Northwestern would easily lose to Penn State. But it happened how it happened, and it's Northwestern versus Boise State. Like both of these teams, Northwestern has a good combination of guards. They got Boo Buie, you got Chase DJ, Ty Berry. Boise State has Tyson Degenhart and a couple other good players. Um, they are a solid team, but again, I wouldn't bank on the Mountain West doing too great this year. I do have Utah State winning. I do maybe have San Diego State winning. But Nevada, I don't see Nevada winning. And Boise State, I feel like Northwestern will be able to get it done. They've had some great wins in their season. They beat Purdue, they beat Indiana, I believe. They've definitely had some good highs. They've had some kind of tough losses in the Big Ten, but they definitely are a solid team. Um, and then, Final Four teams in this region, I would say Kansas obviously could be a Final Four team. I wouldn't bank on it because going back to back is very, very hard to do. UCLA could be a Final Four team. Just the only thing about them is Jalen Clark's injury. It's just, not having your best defensive player will definitely hurt them in the long run, I believe. And then UConn is also another team that could definitely go to the Final Four. Just great all around play. Adama Sanogo, Donovan Clingan as a center or backup center, whatever they run. They have Tristan Newton, Jordan Hawkins, Andre Jackson's very athletic, very fun to watch. They have a good group of guys over there. Another team, of course, obviously Gonzaga. Drew Timme at that center position is always going to be a threat to any team. And then Julian Strother on top of that, alongside players like Rasir Bolton and Malachi Smith, I believe. He wasn't as good as people thought he would be, but he's still solid. And they also had that one other player. I keep forgetting what his name is. Okay, they just highlighted Drew Timme. That's besides the point. I believe that, of course, any of these top 4 seeds could make the Final Four. And I'd say this region is the region where you could probably pick confidently an 8 seed or a 4 seed to make it there. Arkansas is another team that I could see in the Final Four. Just having all those great guard play alongside, they have all those freshmen, but they also have a very good veteran guard in Ricky Council IV. He's definitely not someone to be taken lightly. They have him. They have solid centers. I mean, they're not great. They're definitely the weakest spot on the team, but they're solid and they're big bodies that can get boards and block shots. So, they're what you would want if you don't have a great center. They do what you need them to do. Other than that, I feel like those are probably the only teams that I would bank on maybe making it to the Final Four. I would say my top 2 are UConn and UCLA. Then I would throw Gonzaga and Kansas in there. And then if you want to have a Cinderella team, like if you don't have Memphis beating Purdue, I would maybe say Arkansas over Kansas. Memphis over Purdue. If you have Purdue losing the Sweet 16, then I maybe would keep Kansas and move them to the Sweet 16. And then probably lose to UConn. But if you want to have a little bit of a Cinderella, I would say Arkansas is definitely your team that is below a 7 seed or below a 6 seed in this region that you should bank on going far. VCU can make a little bit of a run to a Sweet 16. Other than that, maybe Northwestern gets an upset against UCLA. Maybe Boise State does too. But I feel like UCLA is still a great team without Jalen Clark, to where they're not going to be struggling that much. I would probably bank on them going to the Sweet 16. And then I would probably have them losing in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. Most likely. I mean, they could win the entire thing. It's really up in the air. Other than that, sleeper teams, I would say VCU's one. Iona could potentially get an upset. Anyone below that, and I don't see Grand Canyon maybe could upset Gonzaga, but that's not something I would bank on. UNC Asheville's not going to get that done, and Howard isn't going to be Kansas. So yeah. So sleeper teams: VCU, maybe Iona, Arkansas. Final Four teams: UConn, Gonzaga, UCLA, or Kansas. And yeah, that is all for this West Region's bracket breakdown. Other than that, like, subscribe if you feel like it, and I will see you guys later.